From the very beginning, Arteta has divided the opinion of the fan base. 3 games into the season already, Arsenal has won 2 and lost 1. And this is us telling Arteta that it is a must that you must win a trophy.
If Arteta is sacked, who do we get?
Welcome, guys, to the show. We're talking Arsenal. And as we can see, 3 games into the season already, Arsenal has won 2 and lost 1, which is losing at Anfield, the most recent game they played. And Arsenal fans, the entire Arsenal fan base is in a meltdown again, looking at how we lost. Some said we played conservative, some said we played well, and we've been getting bashed by a lot of pundits saying Arteta was too conservative and Arteta didn't want to go for the win. But it is what it is. It is what it is. 6 points from 3 games and conceded 1 and scored 6. But, you know, there's a big elephant in the room. Arteta was the one that had a lot of stick over the weekend when we lost to Liverpool. And again, the Arteta outers have started. You know, from the very beginning, Arteta has divided the opinion of the fan base. Some are pro Arteta and some are Arteta out. But we'll be discussing something interesting today. But before we do that, I would like to share just a tweet. I'd like to share something with us. So let us just quickly look at it. And it's a tweet. But the thing is, I really don't know how we don't have a backing, or what would I say? That tweet doesn't have a source. It was just talked about,
Okay.
and so I'll share it. I don't know if you guys can see it. Arsenal Presser. The name of the account is at Arsenal Press _. Judge Kroenke has held a meeting with Mikel Arteta discussing what he expects this season. He has given Arteta everything he asked for and expects to have a successful season. Trophies must be won. Must. Stressed or buttressed here. No sauce. We don't know how true it is. But like we all know, seasons like this, beginning of the season, important conversations are held. Meetings are held, looking into the season, what the season will bring, expectations and the likes. So let me just hear from you guys, looking at that tweet, because a lot of people have formed a lot of opinions. People have diverse opinions seeing that tweet that was released a few days ago, shortly after the loss against Liverpool at Anfield. What's your take? Let me start with you, Daniel. What's your take? What's your opinion on that tweet, on that X account?
First off, I know that account to be a hugely false reporter. The Arsenal Press to be usually false. But if at any case that is true, I can obviously give you points from verified reporters. David Oyston, a couple of weeks back, said something about the Arsenal board being fully behind Arteta. Supporting him, believing that he's the next big thing in Europe, or even the biggest in Europe right now. And there's this other guy from Sky Sports, Seth, and he spoke very reliable as well, spoke about how Arteta is being valued in the Arsenal hierarchy and they see him as the future to carry on with Arsenal. So I believe that is false and it's not the case, but I understand whether it's coming from Arsenal fans, given the frustration. We believe like we've been there, you know. Today I also saw that Mbappe said something about Arsenal being a group that's been together for years and he believes that will win something. Even Salah also said it, the reverse psychology is using. I understand where that is coming from, where fans want Arteta out, we need to win something. I want to throw you back another question. If Arteta is sacked, who do we get?
Well, we're gonna get there. So let's don't preempt conversation. Let's take it layer by layer. Yes, because that's why in my monologue I had to be very careful because it wasn't backed by any source. Yes, that tweet on the X account that I just shared, it wasn't backed by any source. We don't know. But like we all know, football is a big business. Going into the season, decisions will be held at the management level, the CEO to the manager and the likes that are holding vital positions, sport director, Arteta being the manager, Judge Kroenke being the one leading the helms of affairs when it comes to Arsenal. Raposo, what's your own take? So let us assume that tweet was true.
Okay. I would say I don't expect anything less from the board. You know, we've had our best summer in like how many years. We've signed about 8 quality players, and when your club gets behind you and gives you what you want, the striker, midfielders, whatever, defenders, you have a solid squad. So I don't see any. I wouldn't doubt it if the hierarchy actually says you need to win something major, and I think it's even time for them to start making such demands. We didn't hear anything like this last season. We didn't hear anything like this upper season. Obviously, it wasn't backed. Last season we had a lot of grumbling, even on the January transfer and all. So the fact that they've done what they have done now, in terms of giving him all the firepower he needs, I am behind the board if they say he needs to win something. He obviously knows that this season, low key, I know he won't get sacked if he doesn't win anything, because I feel the way the board is right now. But in the pressure has to be, proper. You understand? You can't go all that. You can't do all that business and leave him to say, "Oh,
Yeah.
you win or not." So I'm behind the board, and I hope it is true. I hope that's really true here.
So I just want to play the devil's advocate here. Looking at how some of this thing plays out. Daniel, you just mentioned it the other time, not too long ago, that Oyston tweeted that the board, they are really, really behind Arteta and they are really in full support. If this is let's just imagine it is true, contextually, it is true that maybe a word came out from that meeting and the board are saying trophies must be won, quoting that tweet. What if it's just a PR stunt? Because in my own opinion, what if it was just a PR stunt? Because they know right now the entire fan base are on Arteta. Arteta, you must deliver a trophy. Delivering 0 trophies by May 2026 shows Arteta is a failure. And the Kroenke, please follow me, and the Kroenke is trying to look good, trying to make the fans look like, yes, we've backed Arteta up this summer. He has spent close to over £200 million, and cumulatively, ever since Arteta has taken over the helms of affairs of being a manager for Arsenal, the 1 billion spend narrative, everywhere, part of another thing using to strike Arteta, the armor or the cane being used to flog Arteta. Kroenke, being the owners, are now coming out. There is a kind of sentiment from the fans to make the Kroenke look like as if they are not ambitious. So now they've come out to say, hey, this is us backed Arteta financially. This is us who backed Arteta financially. And this is us telling Arteta that it is a must that you must win a trophy. I'm seeing it from that angle, possibly. Could it be a PR stunt? Or maybe I'm just thinking out loud or not thinking properly.
100%, I think it could be. Because there's one thing I've learned about life, never say never. 100% possible, to be in the good books of the fans, but to feel like, give the fans the impression that we are also working, we are also putting them under pressure. Because, the positive PR Arteta has been getting from the Oyston, the guy from Sky Sport as well. So it is extremely possible that they cannot put out there to, maybe put some pressure on Arteta as well, make him feel like the board or some things that are coming out. And yeah, it's extremely possible that, because I know the Arsenal fans are very reactionary, and if we don't win anything this season, there will be a lot of Kroenke's out, stuff like that. So that if it's true, they're trying to cover their ass as well.
Yeah, Raposo, there seems to be like kind of like a noise. I don't know. Maybe it's, I don't know. Do you have like a fan turned on there? Something blowing into your microphone. I don't know.
No, not.
I don't know if I'm the only one hearing it. Okay. Yeah, your reaction to what I just said.
Okay, so
it's still there, but let's just run it.
Well, that's interesting. There's no funny actually. I feel that even if it's a PR stunt, I would say it's a PR stunt in the right direction, because it's better for him to know from this moment that he should be on his 10 toes. You understand? So there's no way. In fact, there's no Arsenal fan, whether you are pro Arteta or not, that would want to go this season without winning a major trophy. You understand?
Because for me, I'm starved. Starved of
like
the EPL.
You understand? I'm not even talking about the Carling Cup or the FA Cup. If he wins those things, to me, I wouldn't be impressed. You understand? With the caliber of players we have, I wouldn't be impressed. I want something major, and we deserve something major. You understand? So even if it's a PR stunt, good luck with the PR stunt. But the PR stunt should just do the right job, which is spurring him to, taking things more serious than he had done last season. Even without a striker, we got into the semi-finals of the Champions League. He did a good job, but when it gets to those crunch moments, we need to see a better performance. We need to see him handling that pressure and that stage. You understand? I think he should just be more prepared for those moments. Those are the moments that matter the most. If you notice Arteta very well, he starts well. You understand? He can have a good run and all, but when he gets to that brink of just taking that next
crunch
step,
time. Crunch time.
That's crunch time. That crunch time is always, telling for him. It's either he overthinks it or he puts himself under unnecessary pressure and drops the ball. This season, I hope everything works in his favor, and I hope he has enough luck, because he needs luck too. Yeah, to do what he can.
But so I know just something slightly on Arteta before we move on to the next topic or next point of conversation. Do you think Arteta is being bubble wrapped? Because looking at the 5 years Arteta have been in the helms of affairs, I know he's a star boy. The press loved him. He has that oratory power. He has that commanding tone when he attends press conferences. And I've noticed something recently. Even in those press conferences, the media guys don't want to question Arteta, even if he's saying something off. So I have a little thing pointed out, which I call Arteta goof. Yes, and I just want you guys to react. Which is, I'm going to pick the recent ones, the most recent ones. Now, he said something at the beginning of the season when we were playing, preparing the game in preparation for Manchester United, the first game of the season. He mentioned Arsenal has accrued more points in the league over City and Liverpool. In his words, he said Arsenal is the only team that has accrued more points over the past 3 seasons, which makes us one of the best teams in the league. But when you look at that, if you look at the points, Man City has more points. If we look at the last 3 seasons that has happened, 2020, 2023, 2023, 2024, 2024, 2025, Man City, that's a fact. And I'm wondering why is it that nobody could quickly fact check where he was making that statement? Nobody asked him anything. Also, he said that he has given Mosquera his debut. That was after the Liverpool game, the press conference after the Liverpool game. He said that it was an opportunity to give Mosquera his debut. And I'm like, didn't this same guy play Mosquera against Leeds at the Emirates? Also, finally, the Saliba injury. Didn't he see that Saliba had a knock before that game, during the warm-up of that game against Liverpool? But he decided as the manager to still go ahead to play Saliba. So these are just a little bit of goof that I've seen Arteta has made, which brings the question. Is it that nobody is bold enough to question Arteta? Or is it that everybody are just okay with all those goof he makes and nobody wants to put him to question or ask him or counter whatever he says or whatever he does? Any one of you can take it. Danny, you can go first. Any.
The Arteta goof, a very nice one there. I'll start from the Saliba one. Times when a player picks up a knock, before the game, they feel like maybe he can run it off. So I can understand where it's coming from and why they ended up playing Saliba. So in the 40 minutes when he went down, you see that immediately they subbed him out.
Daniel, sorry for interjecting. Did you go back and watch that game, the Liverpool game? Immediately Saliba went down. No Arsenal player went close to him. No Arsenal player. As in the 11 Arsenal players on the pitch. Immediately Saliba went down. The remaining 10, even the captain, none of them went to meet Saliba. So they knew. So it's a very big goof, because it brings to the point that the league is a marathon. Even if you drop points against Liverpool, you need the players to go over the line, which Raposo mentioned. Crunch time, he breaks. That's a very big goof. So let me allow you to continue your...
So I'm still of the same opinion that it happens to everything. So I will not just pick Arteta because Man United, they do the same thing. The player picks up a knock and you feel like maybe he can run it up. And these players, they have this stone cold mentality of I run it off. They never want to go off. Saliba wants to play. He loves us now. You see when we score, he behaves like he goes crazy. And, sometimes the passion is just adrenaline as well. So I don't even blame Arteta, and I was quite impressed that we handled it. I was like, okay, Mosquera, time for you to go into the equation, and Mosquera as well. After saying whatever I said about Mosquera, about
giving Mosquera a debut, giving him his debut at Anfield.
Exactly. So, Arteta has this thing in the media where he tries to sweet talk and confuses the...
No, but that's a goof because he gave him a debut, EPL debut against Leeds.
It helps him a lot. Some guys in the press conference, Yao and the loss, they put themselves in trouble. Those reporters, what they want is they want to put you in a ditch, like in a trap, where they can start firing some questions at. So to be fair, I think he handles the media well. Some things he says I don't agree because the one you mentioned, he lied actually when he said we had more points. We're wrong. I think we were second in terms of points cumulative and stuff like that. But I understand what he tries to do in the media. He tries to, push the blame off in one way, maybe try to, act cinematic and make you feel for him or, say some touching things that make you feel like. So one thing I know about Arteta now is he has a different metrics from us. Maybe for him, it's not about winning trophies yet. For him, in his head is, okay, how many points do we get? How many clean sheets do we have? And things like that. And there's a saying that when you have little goals, little milestones, you end up achieving something big. So maybe that's the methodology is doing with. So we've tried 5 years.
The fan base are not patient. We're tired.
Yeah, trust me.
We're tired.
But I kind of understand him, and I feel for him at times too, because you look at the Arsenal game against Liverpool and you're like, what can the coach do about this, to be fair? Because see Martinelli, I don't think that guy can be coached. I don't hate him, I don't dislike him, but I feel he needs to do better. There's some things he's doing that is not on the coach. This is normal football instinct. So you have some players.
Sorry, I have a reason to interrupt you there, but Martinelli is on the coach. I don't see a coach. If you have this guy Hansi Flick, Barcelona's coach, or even a Xabi Alonso, Martinelli will not finish that first half. He won't. When you see a coach that is serious, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not
even an slot.
Do you understand? You see that chance that Martinelli had the rebound all the way. To be honest, if I was Arteta in that game, immediately he did that just for me not to make him feel, down, morally and all that. He would not start the second half. He wasn't meant to start the second half. Let us be factual, because after that particular chance he had, we switched our play to the right. Madueke was the one doing everything.
Yes.
Those guys did not even play the ball to Martinelli again because they knew that giving him
because they couldn't trust him.
Yeah, it wasn't going to bring any results.
To be fair, in Arteta's defense, when I said what I said, I meant in terms of ability, not his game management of Martinelli. But I would also try to answer your or give you feedback on what you just said on Martinelli. Arteta playing him in that game, I expected it 100% because if you look at Arsenal v Liverpool, the player that turns up every single match over the years has been Martinelli.
No doubt.
I'm tired of this analysis.
No way, I
don't agree.
I want him to learn.
I don't agree, come on.
I will still tackle him on it. I want him to learn. I want him to
learn. Martinelli. So, our coach is superstitious. He has this thing of, if it's not broken, don't change it. So, that is how it goes about
Daniel,
business.
Exactly. And I don't want us to waste time on Martinelli because we're going to have another episode on Martinelli, really. And Raposo, yeah, truly. You heard what Daniel just said. Our manager Arteta is superstitious. He has a way of doing things.
Yeah.
Do you think it has gotten to that level where we could say Arteta, it's not adapting?
Yeah,
he's not adapting.
I would say he's too rigid. That's the word. Because I said something when we wanted to start the season. I said, with the kind of players he's being given, or you are requesting for, and you are getting results from, you don't need to keep playing your old style of football. One thing I've noticed with Arsenal is our defense is A1 already. Don't put too much pressure on trying to get too much corners, and the normal Arsenal football is fluidity. We don't play even when we didn't have this crop of players. When we had Gael Clichy, we had Diaby. When we go to Anfield, we play good ball.
Yep. Kazola.
You play between the lines. You do your 1-2 passes. But when I see Arteta, even against, I won't lie to you, even against Leeds, when we started, we were still doing that our normal diagonal, until Calafiori had to switch that ball up for Gyökeres. And I feel that as a coach, when the summer is going and you know that, okay, you are entering a transfer window, you want to buy a particular type of striker, you should already have it in mind that you're going to have to switch some things within your system. You see that our attack of 22-23, that season when we had the collar. Yeah. Imagine a Gyökeres in that squad. We will win that league 100%.
Sure, definitely.
So when you now have someone like that, and you now have an Eze, bro, I did not expect Eze. Okay, I expected Eze to start. Let's be honest, because I felt like Martinelli, I got tired of, seeing the guy week in, week out doing the same thing. And I felt that for this guy to improve, I feel it's something that is mental. Maybe he needs a bit of therapy, or he needs a bit of, he needs to be refreshed a bit. Put him on the bench. Let him come from the bench. You can, when you start Eze from the left, see what Eze did in his few minutes. He came on. I know he missed a goal and all that, but you could see that Szoboszlai was on his toes.
Same Arteta criticized Eze for not scoring the opportunity.
He never criticized.
So that's the goof. Yes. That's the goof I'm talking about. He does one thing for another player. He does another thing for another player. Havertz, for how many months did Havertz went on a barren run? He never mentioned Havertz's name in the press conference.
Arteta has his professional players, and the thing with him is, to an extent, doesn't hide it. Do you understand? Someone like Eze, he shouldn't have made a statement about Eze, because it was his first. It
was very, very wrong.
It was very wrong. That. You don't put a player under pressure like that, especially when you know he's a new player. Even if you look at that game itself, if you look at that chance Eze missed, no doubt he was meant to shoot. But he was looking for a pass. And he was also looking for a contact. So he wanted to play the ball to either Madueke or Gyökeres, or a contact from Konate to get a penalty. That was what he was looking for.
It was even Gomez that was on his heel.
Gomez, yeah. So even when he didn't shoot, I was like, guys, shoot. But when the whole thing happened, I was like, okay, fine, no problem. But you don't play a Martinelli that gives you 0 touches in the box, 0 crosses, no fault. Even defensively, bro, Martinelli did not do anything in that game. Calafiori held his ground against Salah perfectly.
Yep.
If you watch the post-match conference, I saw Gravenberch, he was being interviewed, and they asked him about the tactics and all. He was like, in the first half, it was really tough for them. He said that, because he mentioned, so he said Calafiori kept inverting, because Calafiori is someone that once he comes into the middle, as a right back, you are like, okay, you have the left winger is still there. You don't know if he's going to do something down to the left winger or to the striker. You're on your toes. Yeah. But he said in the second half, what they switched on to was they allowed Szoboszlai. Listen to this, they allowed Szoboszlai
to invert into the middle. Yeah.
No, not even to invert. They allowed Szoboszlai to walk up or to come up to Calafiori to defend Calafiori personally.
To defend,
and they left Martinelli with Konate. What does that
because
mean?
Because they knew it was going to result into anything.
And that happened for the next 25 minutes before they brought in Eze.
And Super Mikel Arteta was just there on the sideline.
He fumbled. Because I don't like to chastise people, totally, because I know Anfield, he doesn't want to make a rush decision. He doesn't want to switch something, and I understand that. But you see that particular game, you don't have 9 touches in the first half in the opposition box while they have 2.
I not do anything. Yeah.
And then in the second half, you now want to continue with the same system. It's either you want to defend totally or switch up your attack a bit. You have players. Okay, when Eze came in, he was still doing his defensive cover. If you look at him very well, he was on Szoboszlai's toes. Szoboszlai did not even have the chance to run up and all. It was Jones that was able to pick our pockets in the middle. And why was that? Merino was tired. You don't play Merino for 70 minutes. The coach needs to really understand some things. You play to your players.
Exactly.
Merino is he's not a 70 minutes player. He's max.
No, he's not.
40 minutes. He's done.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I just want to touch on something. Daniel mentioned something earlier where he said possibly maybe Arteta is okay with getting those stats. Getting those stats, like he said in the press conference for the Manchester United game. Arsenal is the best team that has accrued more points, which was a lie, which is not factual. And maybe he's not ambitious enough. I shared something on the WhatsApp group, and I want to share something with you guys. Now, if you look at it, and I know I've shared this just for us to round up this conversation, I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, but I'm going to share something with you guys. The Deloitte Money League. Where is it? Sorry, I'm looking for it. Yeah. If you look at this graph, look at from 2020, at least you can fact check it. Anybody that needs it is the football money league by Deloitte. Look at 2020. This is when Arteta took over, right? Up until 2024. This data was as at 2023-2024 season. This figures, audited figures. For 2024-2025 is not yet audited. But let's just look at this sample size. You can see the growth at which Arsenal went. Yeah. When Arteta took over and the Kroenkes were still the owners. I don't know if they were the majority owners back then or maybe they were part owners, but we know Kroenkes at this time were the majority owners of Arsenal. 2021, the revenue dipped a bit, as you can see, 388 million euros, 336. It dipped. Now, from 2021, it went up the curve. And as of 2024, the figures earmarked is massive. So look at the revenue, the trend at which Arsenal, Arteta have been able to push Arsenal currently when he took over in comparison to where Arsenal is in terms of figures, money made. Though this figure does not indicate Arteta alone, it indicates the women team and also indicates other the male team as well. But if you look at it, for the male, we came second in the Premier League for the men's team, and we got to quarterfinal in the Champions League. That was the season prior. But last season, we got into semi-final, so which is more money to a certain degree. Now, I'm going to share something else, which is Champions League prize money, the new format. Now, if you see league phase qualification, so as at this moment, Arsenal has already made £16 million, right? League phase draw, £664,000. If Arsenal wins the league, if let's say for instance we get to semi-final again, do a cumulative of all this money, that's a lot of money made. Now imagine if Arsenal now gets into the final and don't win. For me, for the Kroenkes, if Arsenal gets into the final and don't win, remember I shared on the group that the difference is just 5 million difference. If you do a cumulative calculation of a team that starts from the league phase up onto the final, right? Up onto the final. So if both teams from the league phase up onto the final, they get to this place, the runner-up gets 16 million, the winner gets 21 million, which is 5 million difference, a cumulative of this as well. So if you look at it, it is still good business for the Kroenkes. So the point here is, should we as the fans now put pressure on the Kroenkes to say, see, you guys have made good money. If you look at your profit margins, if you look at your top to bottom, or however financial word is being used to handle that, we can see Arsenal is profitable. If you look at the money they've spent, and that's why they've been able to back Arteta this summer. So should it now go beyond just making money, but at least giving the fans something, which is title? They say title is the currency in football. That is why Arsenal right now is the banter club. Last season, in the London space, Arsenal is the banter club. Tottenham won something, Crystal Palace won something, Chelsea won something, Arsenal didn't win anything. So should it now change from, yes, you're making the money, but please, effort needs to be made to winning a title? And if Arteta cannot do it, can we bring in a manager that can do that?
In that case, for a business, everybody is just concerned about profits. That's why Man United were in turmoil last season, where Sir Jim Ratcliffe was always complaining about we don't have money and stuff like that. But for the Kroenkes, I'm sure they're happy with just making profits. But I know them to be winners, so I know a part of them will be itching to win something. Because when you win, you make more money. For these billionaires, an extra million will go a long way. They see it as good money. So I know they want to win more, and they will pressure on Arteta as well. Because you can't be Arsenal coach and don't have pressure. Arsenal is not Leicester City. Yeah. Arsenal is not Wolves. Arsenal is not.
Oh, he's been backed. He's been backed. Emery. That's why I have an issue. Emery wasn't backed this way. Just to drop that on the table.
I think to be a coach, it's not just about backing. I think how you manage the owners is another thing. I don't think Emery really managed the owners well. I don't think he had a very good relationship with the players. So there are a lot of things to look at when it comes to that. But I think if we stick with Arteta, let's see what's going to do this season. Given that we have, like our front line now, we had Martinelli, Gyökeres, and Madueke. To be fair, those guys have not played together before. And they want to know about a 4-3 is they need chemistry. You can let's go back to the Saleh, Ane, Emilio, and Salah in Premier League that, a very good force. Or as well, the Henrys and stuff like that. So let's give them time. Let's see Nottingham, let's see City, because it's just 3 games in. I told my guys this. Liverpool at some point to capitulate. Yes, they signed this act. I'm telling you for a fact, they will capitulate. Because
Daniel,
yeah.
I can play you our past episode where you said this about Liverpool last season, but they didn't.
They did.
They didn't.
They collapsed. They did, but we collapsed. So we had the opportunity to, but at that point we were dead as Arsenal. So this season, what we've done, I was actually impressed with our squad depth. Honestly, I think it's fantastic. I think Madueke is a good player because I was really impressed with what I saw. Even why did we sign Madueke? I was not a fan, but I watched him for England. And by the way, Mourinho just scored Raposo. Mourinho scored again for Spain just few minutes ago.
Yeah, I just saw it.
He just scored a few minutes ago. So I think this season we have squad depth, and let's see where we go. And now coming back to the other points you mentioned about, how can we see it off this season, or I kind of forgot what you mentioned about, is it supporting Arteta or going far this season? I just think what we need to do is keep our players with our feet, change our gameplay a bit, like Raposo said, because we are used to playing, this way, side to side and stuff like that. So I think this season should go well, and we should be able to. And if Arteta does not get us something, that was the last question. Who do we bring in? Now, what you asked, no one is on my mind, because if you look at it, do we want to go and get this guy, Izagi, that's now in Saudi, Izagi that we know is playing defensive football? What I know about Arsenal fans is Arsenal fans don't like defensive football. That's one thing I'm sure of. Do we want to get this guy back, Unai Emery? Honestly, I don't think I want that guy in my club, because you want a manager that can face the press. Look at Amorim. That guy, when he was saying his players fall on the pitch, if he was an Arsenal coach, I would be so embarrassed and even more pissed off. And when he was trying to make this up and against Grimsby, you are doing that. And so I don't think there's a big name out there, because if you want to go out, I'm telling you that most likely they'll want to go for maybe Xavi. And Xavi,
I don't want that scrub.
That, exactly. So the only person is best for us to stick with this guy for now. Maybe when Pep leaves Man City, which I will not come to us now, because there are no big names out there, because we need someone that can get us over the line. If Hansi Flick was still available, we could think about Hansi Flick, but we need experience, we need a guaranteed winner. Not Mourinho, by the way.
Fair enough. Because right now, if Raposo, you could say we're playing around football, right? You agree with me. We're playing around football.
Totally.
Similar to Jose Mourinho's style. Mourinho did that around football and won how many trophies? 29 trophies. So why are you now saying we can't go get Jose Mourinho to play the same around football but win a trophy? That is what we Arsenal fans want. Raposo, your take?
Yeah. So on Arteta, I feel that at the moment he needs to allow his players get a bit creative. Not creative in the sense that telling them what to do. Let them express themselves to an extent. I feel that the style of coaching or the style of instructions that have been given to certain players has affected them to an extent. You see an Odegaard that on a normal day is brilliant with passes. Harry, stop that. That is brilliant with passes and all that, and all of a sudden, he's a shadow of himself when it comes to creating. He can't connect 1 or 2 passes on time, and he's either too slow on the ball. I know, he just came back from injury and all that, but we need to have a bit of we need to be more fluid. That's the first thing. Secondly, sorry, please be careful. Secondly,
she wants to join the board.
I'm telling you, man. I think I'll get her a mic soon enough. So secondly, if he does not let loose of himself to an extent, like for example, I said the clear part was in the Liverpool game. you can't be too rigid and still expect results. The way he played against Liverpool was clear that he was going out for a draw. You can't have a striker like a Gyökeres that does not have a shot on target in the first half. And in the second half, you want to keep playing that same style of football. To be honest, even as a footballer, the guy will just get frustrated and be like, come, what's going on? You know this guy's strengths. You know that when he plays, he's a nightmare for defenders. Don't make him look like he doesn't know what he's doing.
Doesn't know what he's doing,
You understand? And that boils down to the style of play your midfielders need to create. See what we are saying with Merino in the Spanish team. I watched the last game. I saw the way he was playing with Oyarzabal. I know they have that connection already. I'm not doubting that. But when he played for us the last time, it wasn't that offensive. It was a bit more defensive.
Yeah.
So when you have a player like that, when you have a player like a Merino, when Merino, I saw him on the team sheet. There was a group I'm on, and I said I have no problem with Merino starting because I know he's a good passer of the ball. I know he can do those, like what he did against Madrid, that away game, the assist he gave to Saka.
Pass. Yep.
Do you understand? He's good with things like that. So me seeing him behind Gyökeres, I was like, okay, I think this can work. But when we started playing, it was clear that that was not the plan because it was too defensive. It was not even, within the 20-yard line or the, it was within the center circle most of the time. It was like a third DM. It was like he played, a DM position, always coming back and all. So the coach needs to switch on his attacking style of football. Arteta knows how to, bring the attacking style. He needs to go back to that system because it clearly works for him. Nothing stops us from playing Liverpool and winning them 3-2, 3-1, 4-3. Score more goals. We can't be.
But do you remember last? Do you remember last season what happened when we went there and we're playing all out attacking and first half we're 2-0 down?
Yeah.
So I think that was the reason why Arteta this time first half, because Anfield is crazy. When you get the crowd up, you start misbehaving and doing anyhow with the balls.
Daniel, but in that same Anfield, we have been 2-0 up. And Liverpool came back, equalized, and almost even won that game. So for me, there are no more excuses for Arteta. No more excuses. I know what we've been trying to do for the past 5 years is to look for a way to bring out something to, to defend him, all sorts. But as a serious club, if we're serious and we are really concerned about winning, like I shared with you guys not too long ago, the Champions League money, the EPL money, if you finish second or you finish first. The last time Liverpool won the league last season, if you look at the amount of money won, the difference is not much compared to we that came second.
Yeah.
And also, if you look at the Champions League, new format money. So if we get into the final, looking at the cumulative money we've accrued from the league phase up onto the final, if we win it, the amount of money we're going to get, the differential from who came second, we know Champions League don't recognize second, but the runner-up is just 5 million difference. But if you look at it, it's still profit. So a club who is concerned about just making money, and not concerned about winning trophies and titles, just like Arsenal, because we're so conservative, we're cool with the money we've been making. Looking at that chart, the Deloitte Football Money League chart showed how we have made a lot of money in terms of revenue. Not just the male team, but also the female team. We see what the female team is doing as well. We could see that Arsenal as a club is okay financially. But when do we now see us translating that into winning trophies on the pitch? Chelsea has done it. They're now the Club World Cup champions. They use that as a bragging right over Arsenal. For me, that is just what I want to see as a fan. I know the business side of it is there for you guys to manage. But as a fan, all I'm concerned about is Arsenal's name being, entrenched or being written on the trophy. To say Champions League 25-26 season, Arsenal is the winner. 25 season EPL, Arsenal is the winner. That's just what I want to know. And that's what I want to see. Am I making sense? Or is it that I'm just asking for too much?
It's coming. It's on the way.
Talking about managers, Hansi Flick is there. Jose Mourinho is there. If we're playing around football, we have a manager that has played around football and won trophies. So why don't we give it a try? Luis Enrique is there. Who told you he can't pull the club with PSG and come over to join us? Diego Simeone too is there. There is an Andrea Better influence that could make that happen.
Simeone, Arsenal. No.
Me, to be honest,
Ah.
I don't think I want a Mourinho right now. Is way
No, I'm not saying we should go for him. I'm just contextualizing it. If Arteta doesn't want to change, I'm not saying Arteta has not done well. I'm not saying he's not a good manager. But at this point, we need to cross the line. Win a title.
Yeah. To be honest,
win titles.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I'm an Arteta supporter. I like Arteta, but obviously I'm Arsenal first. And the truth is, if he doesn't cook with what he has right now, trust me, I know it may be a risk. I would either go for a Zidane or I'll go for Fabregas. I watched Como last season.
No, we don't want to do that Fabregas again.
No.
That's
I
another
have
project.
a reason. No, I want to explain something. I have a point. I watched Como last season, and just to see his style of football and all that. Fabregas plays very progressive football. It's not like he's not defensive. He's defensive. But with what he has, look at the caliber of players he has. Dubika, Sanko, he had to loan Nico Paz, retain him. You understand? Just loan Morata. Inter was ready to snap him up, but Como said, man, never. No, we're not leaving this guy now. And I still watch, the guy this season, and I can see that, yes, he's doing a good job. He knows what he's doing. He knows his onion. I'm not going to rush him into the Arsenal job. Never. I wouldn't tell him to just come and pick up because the pressure, right now, the difference is clear. You understand? But Arteta needs to be open, be a bit open-minded. Don't be too, like you said, conservative and affect your players.
Yeah.
You understand? These guys can do better. Understand? It's not like these guys can't do better. They can do better. We used to see, bro. I like last season, even before Arsenal was linked to Gyökeres, I follow this guy. Like I watch based on this particular striker. I used to watch Sporting games and all that. Yeah, I know the league and all that. It's a different criteria and all that kind of stuff. But his style of football has totally changed. You understand? Like Gyökeres is a striker that if you give him a pass that says okay, gives him a run on the goal with a defender beside him, nothing stops him from hitting the target. The keeper will have to punch the ball for a corner or something. But he hardly gets those chances now. Why is that happening? We don't even give him, the chance to run with the ball or, we always like the way we play. He's always secluded in between defenders. Most of the time, he has to run out to the wing to maybe get the ball and release it. Or, so to be honest with you, I know it may be a bit too early, but I don't need to see Martinelli starting any game again for now. Let's just be honest with that.
Well, it's the international break, and it gives the opportunity to Arteta and his team to see how they can look for the best football tactics that can bring Arsenal back to that, that attacking prowess, killing teams, and not waiting for corner kicks, not waiting for set pieces for us to get a win. I know they can do better. There's room for improvement,
obviously.
But we all know it's win or bust for Arteta this season. Come May 2025 to 2026, regardless of whatever happens, we want to see Arsenal's name written on the trophy.
I want the Champions League and the Premier League. I don't want anything less. You can't have this kind of sport.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers
crossed.
If he wins the FA Cup, I'm not bad, to be honest.
So that it doesn't look as if we're trying to form an agenda here against Arteta.
Yeah.
But the truth is, he has been backed financially. He has been backed with players.
Yeah.
So we need to see results.
Yeah.
I think that's a consensus.
Yeah.
And fingers crossed, we hope that happens.